All things work to the good of them that are called according to his purpose. All things work to the good of them called. Hi there, brainwashed. This is Josh with the Heretic coming at you today. I'm holding a flashlight. Yay. It's dark in here. Um, Today is going to be a longer video than most. I usually try and keep them under 5 minutes, but I'm here to. I'm not actually going to tell you the story of my relationship with Michelle. I've been hiding this or keeping this hidden because I've been wanting to get my kids back, and me keeping this silent has been kind of used as a way to keep me in check. Like the hope of me seeing my kids has kept me from sharing what has been going on in my relationship with my ex-wife. So this is kind of a tell-all. I'm going to start from the beginning, and then come up to modern current time. I've been a Christian since I was 21, and well, actually since I was 20, and I've been slowly changing every part of my life I could. One part of my life I couldn't was when it came to sex. I had developed this really kind of insidious way of getting women, and finding a loophole in my belief system so I could abuse it and sleep with women. And I'm admitting this so that I can get beyond it. And it says in Scripture, a man cannot divorce his wife save for the cause of fornication. And man who has sex with a whore, those two shall be one flesh. So if I have sex with a woman, I'm married to her. And if she has sex with somebody else, then I'm divorced from her. So what I would do is I would hide my biblical beliefs from people. I would seduce them. I would then go all biblical on them. And I would then say that the only way you're getting rid of me is to have sex with somebody else. And then they would go have sex with somebody else, and I'd be set free. And it worked a lot. And I'm not really proud of it, but that was what I did. Until I met my ex-wife. And when I pulled that on her, she was down. She was like, okay, you're a Bible freak. I'll move in with you. I'll sacrifice everything, my house, my car, my house, my car, my school, my job, and I will ditch everything I own and my family and move in with you. And that scared me because that's not what I had intended. But I'm a man of my word. I'm not going to back down. I'm going to make it work. So she moved in with me in a garage, and we were together for 8 years. And those early years, man, it was hard. She was, I mean, we were both broken. We were both very badly broken. But she had been abused, and through temper tantrums, and just was yelled, screamed through things, and was very verbally abusive. Very verbally abusive. And if she could have gotten more physically abusive, I'm sure she would have, but I'm bigger than her. So, anyway, it says in Scripture, it's better to dwell in the corner of your house than with a brawling wife. So I had this wife that was constantly, well, not constantly, it was cycles. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad, and just kept going through these cycles. And when it got bad, I just withdrew. I withdrew and hid in the corner of the house, and kind of suckered myself away. And she got worse and worse and worse, and it just got super bad. I knew that I couldn't be with her forever. I knew that I would have to find somebody else. I was never going to leave her. At first, I thought I was going to have to cheat on her. But then I found out about polygamy, and polygamy was my salvation. I could have a wife that loved me, that took care of me and put my needs first, and I wouldn't have to leave Michelle. I wouldn't have to leave my kids. It was the perfect solution. I find a woman that loves me, that cares about me, and I don't have to destroy my family. I can just find somebody to love me in a way that Michelle can't, and we can all be good. Because she hated me. It felt like she hated me. And when I found out about polygamy, it really was like, I felt free. I felt like, oh my God, I finally found a way out of this. Michelle went through cycles. She would be sometimes on board, and sometimes she would be adamantly against it. Sometimes she'd be eager, and sometimes she'd be throwing temper tantrums. Sometimes she would, be okay and talking to these women and getting to know these women and building relationships with these women. Other times she'd be screaming at me or ripping apart my Bible, pulling knives out of the knife block, pointing them at me, freaking talking about my masturbatory habits in front of my kids, physically assaulting me in the bed when we co-slept with our children. I mean, it was bad. It got really, really bad. And I have my YouTube channel. And there was a woman on there that fell in love with me, and I fell in love with her. She got to know Michelle, and she got to know me, and it was good. Things were good. And in my desperation for love, I went too far with her. I engaged in some cyber sex and some phone sex, and that was wrong. I shouldn't have. I did. I own it. Michelle asked me straight up one day if I had done those things, and I said yes. As soon as she saw me, she said, "Get out of the house." I left, because it says in Scripture, agree with an adversary quickly. I went back. Eventually, she told me that she wanted me to leave, like permanently, and I was like, no, you can't make me. These are my house, my kids. You can't make me leave. This is my house. She called the police on me. Police were like, dude, he lives here. What do you want me to do? And so she pulled me aside into the bedroom and said, Josh, either you leave or I take the kids, and me and the kids are homeless. And I couldn't, you put a gun to my kid's head, what do you want me to do? You say, I'm going to make your kids homeless unless you leave. I leave. Michelle said that I will always allow you to talk to your kids whenever you want to. You can see them whenever you feel like it. You just have to leave. So I was like, okay. Michelle helped me find a place to live in a neighborhood that she had chosen. And I moved in there, and I started seeing the kids on the weekends. And after a while, she didn't like the neighborhood anymore that she had chosen. And she said I couldn't see them anymore on the weekends. So then I had to see them in public places like the mall or the Family Interactive Gallery or at McDonald's or somewhere, Hagen's, but I couldn't see them at my house. And then eventually she said I couldn't see them at all. And I lost it. I got a little depressed. I got hugely depressed, and I hitchhiked down the coast, and I'd call every now and again. I didn't want to upset Michelle, so I could talk to my kids, so I tried to keep them intermittent, and it felt like she was, avoiding me, so I tried to keep them intermittent. And then one day she's like, Josh, you can call more often. I'm not avoiding your calls. And so I was like, great. So I started calling every day, and then she started avoiding my calls, and then she said, don't call anymore. You're calling too much. And I needed my kids to know that I love them. She's like, just stop calling. And I'm like, okay, I have to know. The kids have to know I love them. They have to know. Above all else, they have to know I love them. I'm living in a shack. I'm living in a shack in a bum shack, and all I care about is that my kids love me, and that my kids know that I love them. So I hitchhiked back up the coast. I'm like, I'm going to be as close to them as I possibly can. I came to the front door. I knocked on the door. Michelle hid the kids away in the room, came to the door, wouldn't let me in the house, told me never to come back, told me to call back in a month. I called back in a month. She told me, you can't talk to the kids, but call back in 2 more months. And then in that phone call, she says, they're never going to talk to you until they're 18. I need my kids' virtue, justice, salvation to know that I love them. Everything else is irrelevant. I don't care about anything else. That's all I care about, is that they know that I love them, that Daddy loves them and has sacrificed everything for them. So, I'm putting this out there. And I know Michelle's not going to like this. She watches every video that I post. And I'm probably going to catch hell for this. But I don't care. I don't care. She's not going to let me see my kids. Then I have no reason not to send this. I have no reason not to post this. So, the only reason I was never posting this before is because I couldn't see my kids. They need to know that I love them. Everything else is irrelevant. Anyway, you know I love God because I love my daughter, Virtue Esther Osterhaus, my son, Justice Ezra Osterhaus, and my littlest son, Salvation Malachi Osterhaus. They are the light of my life, and I miss them dearly, and I love them with all my heart. Anyway, I will talk to you later. Peace out.